Hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Okay, so take a deep breath in. And on the out breath, that's it. Close those eyes, completely relaxed. That's it. As you breathe in, just imagine you're breathing in a feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you breathe out, just feel like any stress or tension is leaving your body. Breathing in that relaxation. And that's it, letting go of that tension. Now. That's right. And I want you to imagine that you're somewhere relaxing. That could be indoors, that could be outdoors. If it's indoors, it might be a bed, a couch, a chair. And if it's outdoors, it might be somewhere in nature, a beach or a garden. Just know that you're breathing in fresh air. And get a sense that as you breathe in, the air is the freshest air you've ever breathed in. Get a feeling that as you're breathing in fresh air, you're getting healthier and more deeply relaxed. And as you're breathing out, just feel that you're breathing out anything that is not useful for you. Breathing in that fresh air and feeling that from this point forwards, fresh air equals health and happiness. Breathing in that health and happiness, and when you exhale, feel that anything undesirable is leaving your body. Frustration, stress, anxiety or tension is just leaving your body. That's right. Breathing in that health and happiness, and breathing out that tension. And then focus on where you imagine to be right now, somewhere relaxing. And if that's somewhere outdoors, just let me know by nodding your head. That's right. And perhaps you can feel a breeze on your skin, maybe you can see the sky. Pay attention to the vividness of the colors. Perhaps the greens in the trees, the blues in the sky. Notice any other colors around you. Notice again that as you breathe in that fresh, clean air, that you feel deeper and deeper relaxed with each and every breath. That's right. Allow any muscle tension around your eyelids, around your eyes to just melt away now, going deeper and deeper relaxed. Any tension around the forehead, focus on that tension, become aware of the tension, and release the tension. That's it, going deeper and deeper relaxed. Become aware of the muscles around your cheeks, your jaw. As you breathe in that healthy, happy, fresh air. And release any tension around the jaw. That's it, going deeper and deeper relaxed. That's right. Have that feeling of relaxation go down into your neck, into your shoulders. That's it, all the way down your arms, going deeper and deeper relaxed. That's right, going into your internal organs. And I want you, from this point onwards, as you breathe in fresh, clean air, get a sense that that is doing wonders for your internal organs, and mainly your lungs. That your lungs love fresh, clean air, particularly outside and particularly in nature. That's right, as you breathe in that fresh, clean air, really get a sense that this is the equivalent of sunshine and water on a flower. It's exactly what it needs. As you breathe in that fresh, clean air, just feel like your lungs are being able to heal, to flourish, to thrive. But not just your lungs. I want you to imagine that with each and every breath of fresh, clean air, that your heart is feeling healthier and stronger. And because your heart pumps around oxygen to every cell in your body, the more fresh, clean air that you breathe in, the more that every cell in your body is starting to feel healthier, full of energy, and being able to just exhale any tension, toxins, stress, or unhealthiness, allowing it to leave your body. That's right, getting deeper and deeper relaxed. Now, in fact, from this point onwards, there are two things that are going to make you feel healthy and happy. And one of those things is fresh, clean air. And the second is fresh, clean drinking water. That so long as you are breathing clean, fresh air, or drinking clean, fresh water, you will be filled with gratitude. Because there are people on this planet that don't have access to clean, fresh air or clean, fresh water. And if you have either of those things, then your body is getting healthier and you can feel happy from the gratitude that you have these priceless, invaluable resources around you. And I want you to think about the opposite of fresh, clean water. I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine a glass of water that is filled with bacteria, dirt, perhaps small creatures, perhaps the larvae of mosquitoes, perhaps tiny insects. But I want you to make a clear picture, a very clear picture of a glass of water that is dirty, filled with bacteria, infections, something that you would never dream of drinking. I want you to try your hardest to imagine what it would be like to drink this disgusting water. And notice that the closer that water gets to your lips and your nose, the more determined you are not to drink that water. That why would you voluntarily fill your body with things that can cause it harm, bacteria, germs, parasites? And if your unconscious mind is absolutely certain that it would not dream of drinking this disgusting bacteria-infected water, let me know by nodding your head. That's right. And I want you to think from this point onwards that fresh, clean water is just as important as fresh, clean air. And that from this point onwards, the equivalent of that disgusting glass with bacteria, infected, parasitic water from this point forwards would be a cigarette. That fresh, clean air is the equivalent of fresh, clean water, and a cigarette is the equivalent of that water filled with parasites, bacteria, dirt, and germs. And if your unconscious mind accepts that a substance full of tar, pollutants, carcinogens, and toxins is the equivalent of a glass of water filled with parasites, filled with germs and bacteria, just let me know by nodding your head. That's right, and I want you to imagine that there is a cigarette in front of you right now. I want you to imagine you look at it and get a sense of that same feeling that would be pollution, infections, In the same way that germs and bacteria would pollute your body, I want you to get a sense that the cigarette would pollute your lungs. That it would be voluntarily consuming cancer-related chemicals directly into the most vital organ of your body. Without your lungs, you can't breathe. Without breath, you can't live. From this point onwards, lungs equals life. And if your unconscious mind accepts that you can't live without lungs, let me know by nodding your head. That's right. And how can you live with lungs if those lungs don't work properly? And I want you to get a sense that you can make your lungs healthier, happier, and start to recover again just by breathing in fresh air. Or you can continue to pollute those lungs with those cigarettes. And again, I want you to see that glass of disgusting water. Maybe see the bacteria, see the germs, see the tiny insects and perhaps tiny worms. And I want you to get a sense of conviction that no matter what would happen, you would not drink that water. And I want you to locate where you feel that sense of certainty within you. And if you are 100% certain that you would not drink that water, just point to the part in your body where you feel that conviction. That's it. And now what I want you to do is I want you to see the cigarette. And I want you to really get a sense that that cigarette is filled with toxic chemicals, highly addictive substances that creates a trap, a loop, an addictive loop where you continue to have cancer-causing chemicals purely because it feels good temporarily. And I want you to, as you look at that cigarette, get a sense that that cigarette would be polluting your lungs. That cigarette would be the equivalent of filling your body with parasites, bacteria, and germs. And I want you to attempt, just in your mind's eye, attempt to light that cigarette. But notice that as the cigarette gets closer to your lips, you feel that same level of disgust at the idea of drinking that polluted, parasite-infected water. And I want you to try that now. Notice that, bring your hand up towards your mouth, and notice that as the mouth gets closer to the hands and the hands get closer to the mouth, the feeling of disgust and that conviction that you would never do that increases until it's just as strong as that feeling of not drinking the water. Increase the disgust. Have that sense of absolute vile pollution, cancer. Picture the tumors growing in your lungs. That's it. See them growing. See coughing up blood. That's right. Really get an intense feeling of absolute disgust. Imagine the surgeons looking at the lungs from inside a camera and seeing all that black tar. See the cancer growing in the cells of the lungs and link it to the feeling of the cigarette touching your lips. An absolute feeling of revulsion, disgust, and absolute conviction that this is something that you cannot and would not do. And if that reaches the point where you no longer want to have that cigarette anymore, let me know by nodding your head. And your hand will return to your legs only to the extent that your unconscious mind is willing to solidify the decision that you are no longer a smoker, and that you accept from this point onwards you have the identity of a non-smoker. The hand will slowly return to your legs, but only to the extent that your unconscious mind accepts the identity of becoming a non-smoker. And allow that to happen now. That's right. inch by inch, centimeter by centimeter, the transition from going from a smoker to a non-smoker, only to the extent that your unconscious mind is happy with this new identity. That your last cigarette was your last cigarette. That was the moment that you were a smoker. And now, as your hand touches your leg, you are now a non-smoker. And just by accepting that new identity, I want you to feel a sense of relief. Because for a long time there's been a conflict. Part of you knew that this was not useful, beneficial, or healthy behavior, and yet there was parts of you that still wanted to continue because it was helping in some way. And those parts now know that there are many other ways of dealing with whatever happens in your life. You know hundreds of non-smokers that successfully deal with all different kinds of emotions like frustration, stress, anxiety, overwhelm, and yet feel no desire whatsoever to smoke. And that's because they are non-smokers, just as you are a non-smoker. And therefore, any emotional triggers you will now deal with from the perspective of being a non-smoker. If you're feeling stressed, you will deal with that stress as a non-smoker. If you're feeling frustrated, you will deal with that frustration as a non-smoker. If you're dealing with anxiety or overwhelm, you will have the resources to cope without feeling any need or desire to smoke. And that's because you are choosing fresh, clean air rather than the equivalent of a dirty glass of parasite-infested water. In the same way you would never dream of drinking that water, now you can't entertain the idea of smoking without feeling a deep level of disgust. And if your unconscious mind genuinely associates smoking now with disgust and cancer and blood and infections, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. Increase the feeling of that disgust. If it's a level 5, make it a level 7. If it's a level 7, make it a level 9. Increase it and then double and double again until you can create such a feeling of disgust, revulsion. Get a sense that the idea of smoking would promote almost like a vomit response. I want you to remember the last time that you vomited, but this time I want you to imagine vomiting blood. And the idea of smoking, I want you to create the feeling of what it would be like to vomit blood at that very moment of the idea of smoking. Try that for me now. Double, treble, quadruple the amount of disgust, revulsion. Picture the blood and the vomit going from your mouth, dribbling down your lips, your chin. Get a sense of absolute disgust at the idea of smoking. And then remember that smoking is something that a smoker does, and being a smoker was your past, and now you are a non-smoker. If all parts of your unconscious mind accept that you are now a non-smoker, let me now know by nodding your head. That's it. And I want to communicate directly to the part that would smoke for emotional reasons, perhaps from frustration or stress or anxiety. But when I'm speaking to that part that used to smoke for emotional reasons, let me know by nodding your head. That's right. I'm now communicating directly to that part, and I know that you thought smoking helped, and it did, temporarily, for a very short period of time, perhaps even just seconds. It kind of felt that it was helping. But notice how ineffective smoking was at dealing with stress or frustration or anxiety. Because there was occasions where you smoked several cigarettes in a row. And if cigarette smoking was so effective at dealing with frustration or stress or anxiety, why was it that you needed to smoke them sequentially in a row, filling your lungs with tar and cancer-causing chemicals to deal with stress, and then finding out that it didn't actually help with the stress or the frustration for any longer than a second before you needed another one? If your unconscious mind and you directly now accepts that smoking never really was effective at dealing with these emotional states anyway, just let me know by nodding your head. That's right, and I'd like to suggest an alternative, something that will actually work. From this point onwards, you are a non-smoker. And one of the best ways of dealing with emotional states, particularly intense emotional states, will be to get these thoughts out of your head in something where you can objectively review, evaluate, reflect, and analyze these thoughts. And I don't know if this will be a paper-based journal where you get to put a pen to paper and take the thoughts out of your head, look at the emotions objectively, and then evaluate them with a different perspective and reflection. Or I don't know, perhaps if you will type something into perhaps a phone or a tablet or a computer, or perhaps some kind of app that is there for journals. But I do know that whatever you choose will be at least 100 times more effective at dealing with those emotional states than cigarette smoking ever was. Cigarette smoking didn't actually deal with any of these emotional problems. It simply distracted your mind temporarily, so you weren't thinking about the problems in that moment. And if your unconscious mind now accepts that smoking was just a temporary distraction rather than a solution, let me know by nodding your head. That's right. Whereas journaling and writing down your thoughts will actually enable you to process these emotions in a way that you can make new decisions, new choices that get to the root of the problems, rather than just trying to manage the symptoms. And if your unconscious mind accepts that doing journals or getting thoughts out of your head will be at least 100 times more effective than smoking at dealing with some of these emotions that you've been facing, let me know by nodding your head. That's right. I'd also like to suggest another way of dealing with emotional, or perhaps the habit of just doing something for so long. When you were smoking, you would have your hand and bring something to your lips, and temporarily it made you feel better. But I want you to think of that dirty glass of water and realize that you would never dream of having a glass of dirty water and drinking those parasites, drinking those bacteria, all that dirt and infections, because you knew it would make you sick. And in the same way that you have no desire to have cigarettes anymore, but there is a desire to breathe in fresh, clean air, from this point onwards, if you feel emotionally triggered, or perhaps contextually triggered just by being around certain people or certain places, you will have a desire to drink clean, fresh drinking water, the best that is around. And that will instantly make you feel much, much better. And perhaps you can imagine that clean water with ice cubes in there, or perhaps from a bottle, or perhaps just in a glass. But the moment that that water touches your lips and goes into your mouth, you will feel immediately calmer, more relaxed, and more resourceful. Water is one of the most effective ways to make yourself mentally emotionally and physically healthier, while simultaneously reducing cravings, speeding up your body's metabolism, and giving your body everything it needs to slowly but incrementally heal itself. From this point forward, any desire that you used to have to smoke cigarettes will be replaced with the desire to drink clean, fresh water. And if your unconscious mind accepts that this would not only be more beneficial but more enjoyable, because then there is no stress and worry about getting sick, let me know by nodding your head. That's right. And finally, one final way in order to meet the needs of all those things that were causing a desire to smoke, you will be able to meet those needs by simply taking a deep breath in. If you're feeling stressed, you can take a deep breath in of free, fresh, clean air, visualizing where that stress is located in your body, and then on the out breath, visualizing that that stress is leaving your body. And I want you to do that now. Just imagine that there is stress in your body. Breathe in that fresh, clean air, locate the stress, and then as you exhale, imagine that that stress is leaving your body. That's right. And notice that this only works when it's fresh, clean air that you're breathing in. I want you to imagine what it would feel like to feel frustrated. Locate the feeling of that frustration. Breathe in that fresh, clean air. Locate the frustration, and then on the out breath, exhale that frustration. Just have it leave your body. And from this point forward, you will be able to breathe fresh, clean air. Locate the emotion that you're feeling in a moment that is undesirable. And on the out breath, just imagine that you're exhaling that emotion that you don't want to deal with in that moment. You can reflect on what this emotion means and what you can do about it, perhaps in your journal later. But just know that in a second, you can breathe in fresh, clean air and exhale that sensation, that feeling in a moment. And if your unconscious mind now accepts that you have various strategies that will enable you to cope in a way infinitely better than smoking ever could, let me know by nodding your head. That's right. You already know that a future as a smoker is a shorter life. You already know that a future as a smoker means that you will miss out on valuable memories and valuable experiences within your life. And therefore, you now totally commit to a future as a non-smoker. And you know that this will lead to a life of increased health, well-being, happiness, inner connection with yourself, high levels of comfort, and also incredible memories that could have been missed had you stuck with being a smoker. I want you to step into that identity. All parts of your unconscious mind step into the identity of a non-smoker. You know that smoking is something that you used to do, but now you are a non-smoker. And I want you to think about what your future means for you as a non-smoker. As a non-smoker, when you awaken, you will remove any of those things related to smoking. You will dispose of cigarettes, dispose of ashtrays and lighters, dispose of anything that is in any way connected with smoking. As a non-smoker, you will make different choices about which parts of perhaps restaurants or areas you decide to sit or stay in. As a non-smoker, you have already decided how you will respond if someone offers you a cigarette. hear yourself saying the words coming out of your mouth as you simply say, I don't smoke. And if people try and convince you, and they say, just have one, it's okay, you will tell them that you don't want to, and it will be 100% true. Although there was a part of you that used to want to smoke, that part is in your past. Your present and your future is as a non-smoker. And if all parts of your unconscious mind agree, let me know by nodding your head. That's right. I want you to see the facial expressions of those family members when you let them know that you no longer smoke. How happy they are, how proud of you they are, that you've gone on your journey and you've made the decision. No one else has made the decision but you. That you figured it out, that it's no longer serving you. That for a while it did, but that's the old you. And when you see other people smoking, you will remember that that's something that you used to do, but you will have no desire whatsoever. In fact, the idea of smoking will just conjure up that image of drinking that parasitic water, polluting your body, polluting your lungs. I want you to decide what the next few hours and days will look like for you. What you will do to make immediate momentum in this new identity of a non-smoker. And to remind yourself that what you find frustrating in other people is when they agree to a decision but then don't see it through. I want you to tap into that sense of resolve, that commitment, that feeling of doing whatever is needed to be done to simply close that loop and fully become a non-smoker. You will unlock the resource that you've unlocked many times in your life to be resilient enough to see things through. You've dealt with tough times in your life, but they got easier. And initially your body will perhaps react by the lack of nicotine. And your body will adapt and aim to heal. The cravings are signs that your body is withdrawing from the nicotine, and the cravings will reduce hour by hour, day by day, until there are no cravings. It might not be easy, but you have the resources to handle that. And you're looking forward to not just being a non-smoker, but being a non-smoker where you enjoy life as a non-smoker. That you can see other people smoking and it doesn't bother you, but there is no desire at all to smoke. Because even if you saw 10 people around you drinking dirty, parasitic infected water, you would still make the choice that you don't want to drink the dirty water. You would want to drink clean water. And even if you see other people choosing to breathe polluted, infected air, you will still choose to breathe fresh air, giving you a feeling of health and happiness with each and every breath. If your unconscious mind can think of any reasons to continue being a non-smoker, let me know by nodding your head. And if your unconscious mind now fully accepts the identity of being a non-smoker, knowing that you have all the resources necessary to fully commit to this new identity, let me know by nodding your head. That's right. That is your identity. And you will be congruent, aligned with that new identity. And whether it's in a few weeks, a few months, or a few years' time, you will look back on those years of being a smoker, knowing that it was something that you used to do, but with a great sense of pride that you no longer do that anymore. You've made the decision at this point in your life, but many people leave it too late to make a decision such as this. And there are irreversible health issues. But because you've fully committed to being a non-smoker, and you will drink more water, externalize any emotional issues through journaling, enjoy exhaling any toxic emotions, you're giving your body every opportunity to re-heal, to get healthier, giving you the best possible chance of a long life with incredible memories, to spend time with the people that matter most. That's right. In a few moments' time, I'm going to count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken with a feeling of resourcefulness, a feeling of relief that you fully committed to this new identity, willing to put into action anything that would solidify this new identity of being a non-smoker, and unlocking all of the resources required to deal with the transitional period of your body adapting to becoming a non-smoker. Starting to count to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.